call lines this so now many ora anti-corruption crusader Vitus Azeem any enkomo emra. Mr. Azeem, if you can hear me, good morning. Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, good morning. You're welcome.
Very well. So first off, Operation Recover All Loot is a committee put up by the president to initiate an investigation about certain things that, I mean, contextually we are told is not right in terms of the fight against corruption. But the minority is resisting fiercely, indicating that it has no legal backing, and so no former appointee of the former government must appear before such a committee. Now, with this directive going to the former appointees, is that the right way to go in terms of our fight against corruption?
Well, I don't think that's the right way to go. It may be that there's no act of parliament backing the order. And we know that even if it's in the constitution, even if there's somewhere in the constitution, that constitutional provision needs to be backed by an act of parliament. So that makes it a bit difficult for the order committee. But for me, they are not supposed to investigate. They are just to receive complaints and check on the basis of those complaints, like gather some evidence for further investigation by the investigative authorities. But people make a mistake of thinking that they are investigating. They are not investigating. But then if you go with some information, some allegations to them, they can't just take it and pass it on without checking to see whether your allegations have a basis. So, for example, if you say that the plot of land is being bought and somebody is putting a house there, and you name me as the owner of that house, at least they should be able to find out whether it's true that I'm the owner of that house. Maybe check at Lands Commission to see whether I've registered it is registered in my name or whatever. And that's all they are doing. So I don't think that is an investigation. It is gathering evidence for future or further investigations by an appropriate authority. But having said that, this act of parliament is not something that they cannot obtain. The executive can bring a bill to parliament for it to be passed, so that the former employees cannot use that as a basis to refuse to appear before the committee. But the point is this: if there's a house allegedly raising your name, and they want to find out whether it's true or not, if the house is not really your name, why are you hiding it? Tell them it's not in my name, or in my name I legally bought it. These are my documents. You see, you are former public officers, so you have an obligation. You swear an oath of allegiance to the state, and so because of that, you should cooperate with the order. That's how I look at it.
But if the mandate is only to receive complaints from the public and then to a far extent find out whether those complaints, are based on real-time evidence, then one would say that there are several departments within YOCO and then even STRA to a far extent as well, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, who are mandated by law to go into some of this investigation. So why don't you allow the state institutions, to carry out such an exercise, but rather form a different committee with such a mandate? Isn't it the same as what the other existing offices are supposed to do?
I don't think it's exactly the same. Besides, they're just going to complement the work of the other agencies. Like I said, from my understanding of the order, they're just gathering evidence to put before the appropriate institutions. They'll decide which institution you should go to, and then send it to them to now conduct investigations. As an honest citizen, I may have some information. I may not know where to put it.
Okay.
But when I can give it to the order will now state it, decide that this is an OSP or YOCO or SHRAG is an appropriate institution to look at it. So I think that they are just going to help the work of the other institutions, the state institutions that have been mandated to conduct and investigate into alleged corruption.
Yes, but would the minority be right to say that because it is not backed by law, I mean, the former appointees must not subject themselves to such a committee. Indeed, they see it to be more of political witch hunting, which is ordinarily, I mean, people using their own mandate to do what is not right. So, I mean, are they justified in their thought and then in their decision?
Yeah, legally, it's okay for them to do that. But you see, as I said, the public officers, they owe an allegiance to the state. So if you are accused of something and you are not wrong, what prevents you from appearing and proving that it's not true that you have done something wrong? It's your own interest, in order not to subject yourself to an in-depth investigation by the appropriate institution. Provide evidence that this house is yours, that you acquired it in 2001 before you came into power. Simple.
But Mr. Azeem, from where you sit as an anti-corruption crusader, I mean, the approach initiated by the oral committee, is it really right? I mean, the way, manner in which they are going about their mandate, can they really withstand the test of time?
I can't tell, but I believe there is a temporary body following a change of government. And if they collect their information and pass it on, they'll probably be disbanded. Because you see, they work elsewhere. I think all of them work elsewhere.
Exactly the question I was coming to.
So this is the permanent appointment. And for now, the government says they are not going to spend public money on them. And you cannot continue to do that. If they are supposed to continue to exist, you probably have to provide a secretariat for them. You have to provide secretariat staff, equipment, maybe 1 or 2 vehicles. They are going around verifying some of these things. They cannot be using their own money for buy petrol for their own cars to be driving around. It will be unfair to them. So I think it's a temporary body that will do some preliminary work and then leave the scene.
But should we say the existing government institutions must take up this mandate? I mean, for instance, the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Already there are a whole lot of perceptions about the kind of work they've done in the past year since their establishment. Are we to trust that they will do a better job in coming to finality with these matters? I mean, the perceptions that Ghanaians are having that there is a lot of loot that has happened in the last 8 years, and so we must find a very amicable solution and then get to punish people who are really involved with some of these activities. Should we trust that the OSP this time round may do a better job in the absence of the government that actually created that office?
Well, I would want to give them the benefit of the doubt, more especially if the ORA is able to provide indisputable information about some of these allegations. They have said that they have about 700 complaints, but some of them may be about the same things. May have 2 or 3 citizens reporting about Vitus Azeem. So when ORA gets them, they will now be able to sift through them and take those that are worth forwarding for further action, further investigation, and drop those that do not matter or those that are duplicated reports. So, as I said, I want to emphasize that I believe there is going to be to complement the work of these institutions and not to take over from them. And that when they do the preliminary work, the other institutions, let's trust them to try to do their work very well.
Very well. Azeem, I'm grateful for your time this morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Very well. And that is anti-corruption crusader, Vitus Azeem, speaking to us at OPE.